The IRS has new rules for inherited IRAs and RMDs starting in 2025 that you're going to need to know about. Let's get straight into it. Aloha everyone, I'm Daniel Masuda Lehrman, your fee-only financial planner based in Honolulu, Hawaii, serving clients virtually nationwide. Before 2020, if you inherited an IRA from someone other than your spouse, maybe a parent or another relative, you had the option to use what's called a stretch IRA. The stretch IRA allowed you to spread out the distributions over your lifetime. This was a huge benefit because you could take out just small amounts each year based on your life expectancy and allow the rest of the IRA to continue growing tax deferred. So let's say you're 40 years old and inherited a $500,000 IRA account. Under the old rules with the stretch IRA, you could take out just a small percentage each year, for example, around 2.5% based on your life expectancy at age 40, meaning you would withdraw about $12,500 that first year. You'd pay taxes on that $12,500, but the rest of the money could stay invested and continue growing, giving you a lot of flexibility to minimize taxes and preserve wealth. Enter the Secure Act of 2019, which completely shook things up. Instead of lifetime withdrawals, most IRA inheritors were now required to empty the account within 10 years. This was a massive change, especially for people relying on the old stretch IRA strategy to minimize taxes. But here's the problem. The way the rules were written, it was unclear on whether someone with an inherited IRA under the new rules had to take annual required distributions during years 1 through 9. So a lot of people, until very recently, thought it would be okay to wait until year 10 to just withdraw the entire account at once. Well, the IRS has now clarified that starting in 2025, if you inherited an IRA from someone who was already taking RMDs, you will have to continue taking annual distributions and make sure the account is empty within 10 years. Here's how that would work. Beginning in 2025, you will calculate annual required minimum distribution, or RMDs, based on the IRS's single life expectancy table, using the life expectancy factor for your age in the year following the account owner's passing. Each year, you'll reduce that factor by 1 to determine your RMD amount. Now, don't worry about this part. Most financial institutions will actually do this for you. Unless your life expectancy is 10 years or less, you will likely end up taking more than your required minimum distribution each year because the 10-year rule still applies, meaning you need to fully distribute that account by the end of the 10th year. The IRS did waive this rule through 2024, but starting in 2025, you will need to follow it. To reiterate, the key takeaway is this: if you inherited an IRA in 2020 or later, and the original owner was in their 70s or later and taking required minimum distributions, or RMDs, you need to start planning your distributions by the end of 2025. This is not necessarily bad news. With or without this required distribution rule, it still makes sense for most people to deplete the account somewhat evenly over those 10 years because it gives you less likelihood that you'll get pushed into a higher tax bracket. But now you just might be penalized for not taking annual distributions. Now, one common question I'm asked is whether the 10-year rule for inherited IRAs applies to everyone. The answer is no. There are certain beneficiaries who are exempt from this rule and can take distributions over their life expectancy still. Surviving spouses. They have the option to treat the IRA as their own or take distributions based on their life expectancy. Minor children of the deceased IRA owner. Until they reach the age of majority, which is either 18 or 21, depending on the state, they can take distributions based on their life expectancy until they reach the age of majority. Once they reach the age of 18 or 21, they will then have to start following the 10-year rule. Disabled or chronically ill individuals. Those who meet the IRS definition of being disabled or chronically ill can take distributions over their life expectancy. And finally, individuals not more than 10 years younger than the deceased. Beneficiaries who are no more than 10 years younger than the original IRA owner can take distributions over their own life expectancy. For example, if the original IRA owner passed away at age 80 in 2024, with their 74-year-old brother as the beneficiary, the brother is exempt from the 10-year rule because he is 6 years younger, or not more than 10 years younger than his brother who passed away. That's it for today's breakdown of the IRS's updated RMD rule for inherited IRAs. These changes are very important to understand if you want to avoid penalties and manage your taxes wisely as you enter retirement, or if you're just dealing with an inherited IRA. If you have questions about how these updates impact you personally, or if you're looking for help with retirement planning, feel free to reach out to me. You can visit my website to schedule a complimentary consultation. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more updates and financial tips from a certified financial planner. Thanks for watching. See you next time.